everyone. So I am recording this webinar so that other people who weren't able to join us early on can also listen in later. So I'll just review the agenda really quickly. If you have any questions, raise your hand and we'll unmute your line, or you'll unmute your own line if you're on the telephone. So we are just going to do a quick overview of the California Career Pathways Trust. We'll talk a little bit about your role and get into some specifics around grant commitments, looking for relevant information. And then end, although it says number 1, it really should be number 4, engagement points over the next month for our partners. So I just want to give you a little bit of background. Many of you do know this, but I want to make sure we're all on the same page. The Career Pathways Trust is an initiative of the California Department of Education. This is their second year of funding, and they are distributing, if I get my zeros right, $250 million across the state. Their overarching goal is to build robust partnerships between employers, schools, and community colleges in order to better prepare students for the 21st century workplace and improve student transition into post-secondary education, training, and employment. The grant focuses on kindergarten through 14th grade, so to speak, community college. So that's preparing students along the way, at any point in that pathway that they're ready for a job, and then also to prepare them for higher degrees in education if they desire. So I want to hand over the mic to Bronwyn here for a moment. She was at the heart of the 2014 experience, so I want to give her a chance to tell us a little bit about that. Bronwyn, if you're on the phone, go ahead and unmute your phone and tell us a little bit about 2014.
Okay, thank you. Well, first of all, thank you to everyone for joining us this morning. And just in regards to our last round, it was a really large, unprecedented effort. Most of you were partners on the last round, so thank you for participating. And the outcomes, I think I've kind of touched base with most of you individually regarding the outcomes of the first round. There were some really strong parts of our proposal and some areas that we needed to be improved on. Unfortunately, we did make it to the finals, but unfortunately we were not funded, as we're all well aware. However, we scored highly enough to be invited back to Sacramento actually 3 times to meet individually with the CDE. They really liked aspects of our consortium. They really have faith in us as a region, and they want us to be successful. So we did meet personally with the CD, and we got some really valuable feedback for what we can do differently this time moving forward. So I just want to touch on some of the main overarching points. One was that we were a little too ambitious in proposing 8 pathways. I think we were so excited by this opportunity that we wanted to kind of capture all of our regional needs in one proposal. And those of you who work in grants, sometimes the one grant isn't the silver bullet for all of your needs. You have to kind of focus down on what's appropriate for that particular proposal. So in this round, we need to scale down the number of pathways and simplify what we're trying to do so that the Department of Education has confidence in our ability to really deliver and meet our objectives. So that was the kind of main point. Another large point was that this surprised us actually, they really are not interested in transfer pathways. They want to get people jobs as soon as possible and really boost the economic vitality, and that means certificates and 2-year degrees that are very well aligned to the industry needs of our region. So they really didn't want as much focus on university transfer pathways. They really want the emphasis to be on the K through 14 level, which means for us even some opportunities immediately after high school, but most of the opportunities will lead to community college and then either a certificate or a degree program. And then in terms of our internal working with our partners, the feedback that we got from our partners was that they wanted to see more transparency in the decision-making processes and also in the budget process. So I think that most of us feel like there was good communication in terms of, the status of how the proposal was moving forward. We brought together 53 partners on the proposal, which was kind of powerful. And so obviously, we had communicated well that way. But in terms of how some of the final decisions were being made, I think in the heat of the deadline and after it all came together, the budget process was slightly mysterious. So we are going to try to fix that by creating an executive team that's going to have some top-level budgeting influence, which represents all of our key partners, and then also have input from everybody on the ground when we start doing the bottom-up budgeting. And so that's kind of it in a nutshell. Sonia, were there any points that I missed?
Thanks, Bronwyn. I think you covered everything. I would like to mention one of the other, on the review of the grant application last time, having a variety of data was also a request. So that's one thing that we're working on for 2015. Are there any questions at this point about last year's process before we jump into the here and now for 2015? Okay. Just again, raise your hand.
I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
Oh yeah, I wanted to make kind of the point that segues into why we have Sonia, which is that also in our effort to be more inclusive of our partners, we felt like it was appropriate to bring in an external person so that Hartnell could be one of the seats at the table rather than at the front of the room all the time. So we have an external expert, Sonia Kohler, helping us facilitate the proposal development as well as the grant writing.
Thank you, Bronwyn. And actually, you remind me that I forgot to introduce myself properly and my team. So I'm going to just take a moment to do that. My name is Sonia Kohler. I'm a consultant. I'm based out of Monterey County. I work nationally and, in fact, internationally. My expertise is in multi-sector strategic planning. And also, I focus on youth development, which includes education, working with opportunity youth, and community development, as well as early childhood development. I have two associates working with me, Kim Stemler. She's been working as a consultant in the community for many years and has also worn other hats, working with First 5 early childhood development, and in fact is now an industry partner as executive director of the Monterey County Vintners and Growers Association. Another associate is Vince Kohler. He is with Social Policy Research Associates based out of Oakland. He also lives in Monterey County, so we are a team. While we work across the globe, we have great insights into our community. And Vince, we are lucky to have him. He is one of the leaders in the country around career pathways development, and Social Policy Research Associates has worked with the Department of Labor over many years to develop the National Career Pathways Initiative. So we are lucky to have them on board with us. So looking at 2015, it truly is here and now. For those of you who don't know, the drop date for the grant application is February 6th, so that is less than a month away. We plan to have our grant application basically finished by the end of the month for last reviews before we submit it. So that is why we are on a bit of a high-speed game here with engaging our partners, as Bronwyn mentioned. I have on the slide here the four sectors that we are focusing on through our application. One of the lessons learned from the grantors last year was that they didn't give a guideline on how to describe their sectors or their career pathways, so people were describing them in their own terms. So to make sure everyone was aligning with skills needed and curriculum needed, they're using the CTE sector descriptions. So the four areas we're focusing on are agricultural and natural resources, of course, a strong point in our Salinas Valley. Health sciences and medical technologies, that is including patient care. Information and communications technology, there's a lot of innovative things happening at Hartnell, and we'd like to take that even a step further, perhaps looking at web development and applications development. The public service sector, we are looking at paralegal practices. Across the state, there's a great need for paralegals, and Hartnell is a part of a state initiative to recruit and train students for that career pathway. And on a side note, we actually get bonus points for focusing on paralegal practices, and bonus points can't hurt. We're excited to be adding that career pathway. We've looked at a lot of data. We're still collecting some from our local industry partners. If we look at the EDD, the Economic Development Department's data about job openings and the fastest growing occupations, we really see that these four sectors are right on target. I'd like to mention that while our application is focused on the Salinas Valley across Monterey County and San Benito counties, our labor shed, where our students go and get jobs after they finish their programs, is actually larger than that. It includes Santa Clara County, and so when we're looking at our data, we also include that area for job openings, etc. So our labor shed extends all the way up to San Jose. Any questions at this point? Okay. So I also want to tell people about another difference between last year's application and this year. This is in terms of what the grantors are doing. This year, it's a 2-year funding cycle, and then they're requesting 2 years for us to show 2 years of sustainability. Last year, there was a bridge year where we could use rollover funds from the first 2 years. That one is not available. What that means is we're really looking for curriculum development or training or purchasing of equipment money, seed money, or startup costs that won't carry over as much into the after 2 years. So that's a bit of a new approach this year in 2015. One thing we noticed, Bronwyn, you might have mentioned this, is that last year in the application, a lot of the funding was supplanting what was happening on the ground already in terms of instruction time or other activities, and that wasn't looked upon favorably. So it's really about helping our community invest in career pathways up front in the first 2 years. So we are required to show sustainability and institutionalized funding in these programs in year 3 and beyond. So Some other highlights for our approach are we're really trying to take a workforce development lens this time around. A lot of the partners are in academia, whether it's at the secondary or post-secondary level. And we feel that the other side of the picture is really missing about what does the workforce need in our community, and what is the industry voice? What do our employers need? I just saw that Joyce Aldrich joined. Welcome, Joyce. You're right on time. I was about to mention the WIB, the Monterey County Workforce Investment Board. We're glad to have them as a strong partner. Joyce Aldrich is the executive director to help us, and we're planning on investing in the WIB to help us develop those relationships regionally between the academic side and CTE side with our industry partners. So we're very excited about that, to build our internal capacity countywide through the WIB. This is a K through 14 career pathway grant. We feel we have a lot of room to grow in those first 8 or 9 years of a child's education path. So we're looking how we can reach out to younger children going as early as kindergarten. The science shows that this is a point of actualization for young people, and the more careers they're exposed to, the better. They can see their possibilities into the future. We have programs available in our county at different points of a youth educational path that helps open up the possibilities. For instance, going onto a college campus in elementary school. Some kids have never been on a college campus, so just knowing that that's an option. So really linking what's happening more intensely in terms of academic and career training later on in the education pathway with understanding at an early age what's even possible. So in addition, we want to connect students with hands-on work experience. This is something we've been trying to do for years, and this grant gives us an opportunity to invest in that. I think in part with better relationships between our education system and our industry partners, we will be able to get commitments for hands-on work experience, whether it's job shadowing, whether it's a mentoring experience, or an internship over perhaps a summer or even during a semester with an employer. So this is something we'll be looking towards you, our partners, for to help us identify the employers that could offer these kinds of opportunities. I want to remind everyone, I'm actually today and yesterday have been at a conference in Oakland talking about, it's talking about youth violence prevention, but the workforce development angle is really important. And as organizations across the country are trying to do what we're trying to do, is find opportunity for the education system and industry to partner, we forget that schools are an employer and can play and model what our other industry employers, what we ask of them. So I'm interested in looking at how perhaps Hartnell College or Gavilan College could offer opportunities for youth going through these career pathways to intern at those colleges. So modeling what we're asking other employers to do. So another exciting partnership that we're getting deeper into is including the student perspective on the development of our career pathways. I'm excited that Raul is on the line. He's the student body president at Hartnell College. I hope I got that right, Raul. just to see if you're awake. Let's see if anyone can figure out how to clap for the student body at Hartnell. There's this lovely little emoticon. Great. All right, you guys are awake. Thank you. Raul, I would ask if you wanted to just say maybe a sentence or two about the student body and what might be important for them in the career pathways. I know I'm putting you on the spot early in the morning.
Well, thank you very much. You know, this is very interesting because this is a turning point for everybody, mainly here at Salinas. You know, having to deal with juvenile justice and a lot of these things that are happening, and most important of all, how do we create a pathway for students that might not want to go to a four-year institution and just basically want to go out to the workforce? So this actually would help them capitalize on those opportunities and then be able to be rendered a one-time opportunity to be able to actually become successful. So the student body government, I think at this point, would like to participate fully, and I would actually bring it to my board and actually have them be participatory also as well.
Great, thank you, Raul. I also want to, this goes back to, just since I'm calling out folks, that I'm grateful we have a perspective, a broader perspective from the UC Office of President. We have May and James on the line. I won't put you on the spot, but I just wanted to say that while we are focused on the Salinas Valley, we're still having a regional view, if not statewide view, of developing our career pathways, and are grateful to have those resources working with us. May has been instrumental in connecting us with Cisco, who is a great source for both technical assistance, including their Cisco academies in high schools and colleges, community colleges, as well as a source for data and other information that's quite relevant. So one of the resources they actually bring to the table is they perhaps can help us with data management. As you can all imagine, we're juggling a lot of data sources between, you know, high schools, colleges, what employers have, what the economic development community is giving us, etc. So one of our challenges will be how to collect and access that data, respecting confidentiality of students, yet being able to use our data in a way that works for us. So those are the highlights of our approach to the grant. I want to ask if there are any questions. I see some people are still clapping. That's great. You can turn those off if you want to. And if anyone has any questions, go ahead and raise your hand, and we'll make sure your line is unmuted if you're online. So I mentioned that the funding for this grant is over 2 years and then on into sustainability. I want to take a moment to talk about the big picture of linking career pathways to our local economic vitality and understanding how schools can really prepare our students for jobs locally. This is a discussion that goes beyond the grant. A grant bringing in money is always a great way to get our attention and kind of force us to collaborate. Hartnell is excited to be providing the space for this conversation. It has been happening in pockets around the county, but we'd like to continue to do that on January 22nd. In the email I sent you with the dates for the webinars, I alluded to this, and you're getting the sneak preview. So the official invitation to this will be going out in the next day or two, and it's going out to a broader audience. I'm going to take a moment to mention what's happening what's happened around this grant. In the first round, Hartnell, Gavilan, and NPC, Monterey Peninsula College, were working together around the grant, creating a regional consortium. And this time around, in order to help, let's say, ease some of the humps and bumps of having a large consortium, and perhaps to increase the likelihood of bringing in grant money, NPC and Hartnell are each leading a grant application with different pathways. We're partnering together beyond that, but there are 2 grant applications. So if you are a partner that spans both Monterey Peninsula College and Hartnell, you'll be hearing from both of us. We're doing our best to coordinate our outreach efforts in the community. So for this convening, it's a breakfast convening on the Hartnell College campus, 8 to 10. The exact location will be disclosed soon. And this is right before our work session, our one live work session that afternoon. So we invite you to come in the morning. We'll feed you all day. You'll get breakfast and lunch. And we're going to get a lot of work done that's going to carry us, we hope will carry us into the future beyond the grant as well. So, I'd also like to note that process of, we're eager to invest in that process of capacity building around the issue of linking career pathways and local economic vitality. So through the grant, we will be investing a little bit of money to support that process. So, of course.
Hi, this is Bronwyn.
Yes.
I'm sorry, Sonia, I'm trying to raise my hand, but I'm not able to. I wanted to also acknowledge Shireen Carr from Gavilan College.
Yes.
And just if you could briefly address the partnership with them as well.
Oh, great. I was hoping she'd be able to jump on today, but I see she isn't. I have been in communication. Gavilan is a great partner for Hartnell. Of course, we might have...
She's here.
Oh, she is. Go ahead.
Go ahead. Oh, I just wanted to acknowledge our partnership in the last round. It was an excellent grant, and we look forward to being a part of this one. I don't have any more specifics than that. Just Gavilan is happy to be a part of this grant once again for the second round, and we're certainly hoping for a great outcome. So we are interested in the concepts that you presented today, and look forward to working with all of you again.
Thanks, Shireen. And I would just say that I think that one of the benefits of being part of the region, but having Hartnell and Gavilan be the co-community colleges on this specific proposal, is that we share so many of the same characteristics in terms of our student body and also the programs that we offer at our respective institutions. So I think that actually having it with our 2 community colleges in one proposal in partnership with a separate application with MPC actually allows for more overlap and a closer partnership with more emphasis on equal distribution of resources between our 2 institutions.
Sounds good. I look forward to that. Yeah, that sounds great. I wanted to make sure I did understand also that there is a second application with MPC, so it's going in separately or as part of ours?
It's going in separately with collaboration in some of the larger aspects. Sonia, were you going to address that?
Just reiterate.
Or do you want me to talk about?
Go ahead if you feel like it. Otherwise, I can jump in. Go ahead.
Okay. So some of the areas, like as Sonia mentioned earlier, there is overlap in our partners. So some of the obvious ones that come to mind is the Monterey County Office of Ed, obviously the Monterey County Workforce Investment Board, which is a key intermediary between schools and industry, and then the industry partners themselves. So if there's a business that is employing graduates from both of our programs, then there's possible overlap in terms of our partnership with the businesses. So what as Sonia mentioned, we're coordinating our approach, and one of the things that we're hoping to achieve is that we both present an approach that allows for sustainability in terms of building additional pathways beyond the life of this grant. So if we're both using this grant as a way to set up systems that can be sustained and carried forth, and we set up similar systems, then it'll allow us to join as a true region later, after we kind of get this little infusion of resources to give us that boost that we need to get started. And then secondly, we're hoping that both the MPC application and the Hartnell GAV application can both contribute equally to the development of the county office and the WIB, so that we can allow those two agencies to reach their full potential in serving and developing career pathways in our region.
Great, thank you for the detail on that. Great.
Thank you, Bronwyn. Any questions on that? There is, I'm going to take a moment to mention, and forgive me if I missed you saying this, Bronwyn, there's also a, just to add another layer to the mix, there's a coastal coalition around the agricultural industry that is also going for a grant, but that's something very distant. I mean, we're really looking for close partnerships here in our region. They're going for breadth, not depth. So you might be hearing buzz around that in the area. And we will partner with them as best we can. So I'm going to go ahead on the slides and look at the timeline, and so you can see we're on a quick timeline. We have a couple of weeks to go. You know, we have webinars scheduled throughout. We might add another one perhaps on January 19th. You'll hear more about that. So the big question is, what's your role? And I want to take the last 10-15 minutes to talk about that. I'm just going to put out a few ideas and then open it up for discussion as well. So I guess the one clear way of partnering, and I'll ask for a rate, or actually let's try the yes, no, or maybe, because some people might still be exploring, is who wants to be part of the grant? Who has a project within your own agency that you think could be funded through this grant? Let's see. We definitely have one person. We've got a couple people who believe that there is room for them to have a project funded, a Career Pathways project funded through this grant, or provide a service that we can use during the Career Pathways development. I'm sure there's really all of you would be there, perhaps. So we have, I'm just going to give a brief example, and Emily, if you want to jump in and add anything. Our feeder schools, I'm calling them feeder schools, it's our K through 12 system, and especially the 9 through 12 system, is a really important partner in this, because that is where students are exposed to opportunities for career exploration and then skills development. So they're at the heart of our partnership. And some of the things we believe we can help support are things like increasing distance learning, perhaps investing in technology for that. These Cisco academies that support computer learning, computer science. We can invest some money in developing our articulation agreements between community colleges and the 9 through 12 system. Similar to that, there's dual or concurrent enrollment. Emily, do you want to mention anything else of exciting opportunity in partnership with schools or anyone else?
I think another thing that would be helpful is the support with recruitment, like having industry come in and help us with kind of inspiring our students to go into some of these types of careers. And as a result of that, being able to take some of those courses at the school.
That's a great way to partner, and I think that's an easy way for our employers to get involved without having to make too much of a commitment. So thank you. That conversation will be going on especially over next week. So if there's anyone who wants to join in on understanding and developing ways that we can invest in career pathways at that level, type your name in the chat and put 9 through 12 so we know that you'd like to join that discussion. Another way that you can get involved is through, beyond what we just mentioned, is identifying the needs of your agency. If you have your hat on as an employer, even if you're a school, if you put your employer hat on, what is it that you need to be able to assist in the career pathways project? And so what we need to know is also then how much does that cost? So we need budgets. I know WIB is working with us to do that, so we're excited to be able to support that kind of effort in our community. And I want to give you a moment to actually we think, oh yes, we need computers, we need something else. So take a moment and think wildly about what it would be, something creative that you've always wanted to do, and is that perhaps possible through this grant, especially if it's a startup or seed money for that. So if you have any ideas, type them into the chat or raise your hand and let us know, and we'll see what we can do to integrate that into the proposal. Another way that you can participate is helping us identify barriers for students at any point, even if it's at the young age in kindergarten or all the way through leaving the career, the community college. So what kind of barriers are there, and then what are our resources to address those? I see Sharon has several ideas. Sharon, do you want to take a minute to share any of those right now, or would you like to do that offline? We'll catch up with you, Sharon. I see Emily saying barriers, models of people who students identify with in these different industries. That's building kind of a relationship. That's almost a mentor kind of a situation I'm thinking about. Sharon, I see you've got sound problems. I know how that goes. We'll catch up later, Sharon. Thank you. So, and here's something that you might be able to help us with. I'm actually looking for a catchy name for this project, and we're close to wrapping up today's webinar. But I keep coming back. It's a very cumbersome way to describe what we're doing. So if you have any good ideas for a catchy name, in the southern part of the state, there was a winning group that called their program Ramp Up. I don't remember the acronym, but it's inspiring. So if you can put your thought hat on that, that would be great. I think it makes a difference in how what we call ourselves makes a difference in how we see ourselves. So I'm going to go ahead and open it up again to any questions or comments. Our first webinar is really an opportunity to bring us all together and share where we are, so we're on, as best as we can be on the same page. There are a lot of moving parts. You'll be hearing from us offline as well. You know my email address. You'll see it at the bottom of the slide here, or my phone number. Call me, email me anytime, and we can connect. And we'll be keeping you updated through these webinars and emails as best as we can throughout the month. Communication lines are open. So are there any questions? I see we have an idea here including special needs students at MCO. You could be a great partner. That's something I don't think we addressed that deeply in the 2014 application. Thank you. Any questions or comments? Bronwyn, would you like to, do you have any closing words for us?
Yes, I just want to again thank everybody, and it's been a little bit of a rough start in terms of partner communication, just because we had some stumbling blocks to get through in terms of defining our regional proposal and who our partners were going to be. But now that we have that clearly defined, we're going to be moving forward. And as Sonia mentioned, the communication lines are open. So feel free. Sonia is being really instrumental in terms of pulling all the components together, but we're working together closely. So if any of you want to email me privately, or if you have resource requests, this is going to be a large amount of money to be spent in a short period of time. So if there's things that we can do that would build sustainability, that wouldn't be supplanting, just the sooner we have that information, the better. And this is because of the short nature of the time, there's not going to be that many face-to-face meetings, so there's going to have to be a lot of individual communication. So I hope that you'll reach out to me if you have questions or input.
Thank you. Bronwyn, maybe you can type your contact information into the chat. And I want to address, someone asked about industry involvement. We mentioned it briefly, and I guess I should confess in a way that it's our greatest challenge, and this is exactly why we're investing in systems such as the WIB and developing the consortium over time through this grant. The incentives are different for business and schools and community colleges and community agencies that are involved in this. So bringing us all together so that we speak the same language can sometimes be a challenge, and we're really looking towards to you, our partners, both as employers, but also your connections to employers in the region. We're looking for some very specific commitments in our letters of support in this grant. If we have an employer who is willing to say, yes, I will offer 3 internship positions during this period for students going through these career pathways. So if you do have connections in the community, whether it's through your work or even other parts of your life, of someone who is interested in participating in this, what we see in our education system is we're doing a pretty good job of educating our students for jobs. We have great career pathways, but they're not necessarily linked to the opportunities here at home. And we want to build that sense of we can be educated and employed in our community. So, Sharon, is there anything specific you wanted to hear other than that through about industry before we call it a day, or does anyone have any comments?
This is Bronwyn. I just wanted to add that another significant difference in the approach is that in the last round we looked at kind of publicly available labor market data, and this time we're going straight to industry for that information. So it's really starting with the industry down approach rather than the K-12 up approach. So we're asking industry, what skills do you want to see in your employees, and then we're modeling the pathways based upon that information, and it's our local employers, as Sonia mentioned.
And I just typed an answer to another question. Sharon was asking if they've been invited to the sessions. Yes, they have. And we're also reaching out, again, as Bronwyn said, because of the time frame, it's hard to get everyone on the same page. We're reaching out individually. Kim Stemler, one of my partners, she has a lot of connections in the community through her work with employers beyond the wine industry. And so she is working behind the scenes to make phone calls. An even broader spectrum will be invited to the convening that will bring us together as well. That's where we hope to see a lot of them live, our employers. So yes, they have been invited. And we do have, again, I like to think we do have employers at the table, because our school systems are some of the larger employers in the area. We have county agencies on board. Our government is one of the largest employers in the area as well. Are there any more questions? You can type them in the chat. You can send an email anytime. I thank you for being with us here on short notice at 8 in the morning. We will do another webinar on Monday, January 12th at 3 p.m. We'll expand a little bit more on what we talked about. It's also to give people who couldn't make it today an opportunity to get on the same page, but we will also be addressing other items more specifically on January 12th. So I hope to see you again at hear you again at one of our next webinars, and then to see you on January 22nd at our live meeting during the convening or the work session in the afternoon. So thank you, everyone. I'll hang on for a few more minutes if there's any questions that come into the chat, or someone wants to mention anything. I'll be here to answer that. So thank you again.
I have a quick question.
Yes, please.
Hello?
Go ahead.
It's Joe DeRusi from MCOE. I have just a quick comment. I have been working with people in the community, professionals, on a mentoring program that we're trying to get off the ground for alternative programs. And I have an ag industry person who's interested in participating in a number of different projects, but certainly getting more youth involved with ag careers. And I'm wondering who I might be able to pass on her information to.
Bronwyn, would that be Susan Pheasant, or should he pass it on to you and then you'll make that connection? Joe, that's fantastic.
Hey, Joe.
I think these mentor opportunities.
Yeah, that's awesome. Susan Pheasant is you know her, I'm sure, right?
Yeah.
The Ag Institute Director, and she has been working fast and furious, pulling together industry for the multiple ag pathways. So I think she would be a good person for your industry person to connect with. But if you would just copy me, because we just don't want anything to fall through the cracks.
But to tell you a little bit about this person in particular, she actually went to Hartnell. Got her 4-year degree, and now she is an ag executive here in the Salinas Valley. I think she's probably early 30s, but she was part of the Ag Ambassador program at Hartnell back in, I want to say like 2004, and now she's wanting to give back in any capacity. She's helping us with the mentoring program, but what she really wants to do is do some recruiting and provide input for how programs might do a better job of reaching out to secondary students to get them transitioned into our program. So I think she would be excellent. And she's someone who actually
so exciting.
did that work. Yeah.
Wow.
So I have an email. I'm going to
Perfect.
send you her info.
Okay.
I don't know if she's back from the holidays, and then we'll go from there.
Okay. Are we on the line? Is anybody else on the line? Just since we're talking.
I'd like to add another, speaking of mentors,
yeah.
There is the Cisco Mentor program. I don't know the name exactly, and Hartnell has been involved in that in the past, and I think it would be great to include that. May over at UC Office of President had mentioned that would be a great one, and I love this idea of building our mentor program between people in the industry and students throughout the career pathways.
Under
so
the umbrella.
Joe.
Yeah, if we could develop a structure through career pathways, like she could be, the kind of the shining star, the pilot mentor who helps develop the structure, but then maybe we could develop a structure so that when additional people raise their hand and want to get involved, and we already have a system in place for connecting them. And then the Cisco mentorship program could fall into that structure as well.
We are sort of modeling our program after a mentoring program out of Santa Clara. So our new assistant superintendent has sort of a blueprint for a mentoring program that can easily be tweaked and adjusted. And we're getting this off the ground specifically for alternative programs, but it could be extended and changed, for other groups of secondary students. So
is that Mary White or Deneen?
No, it's Dr. Ferris Sabah, the of Student Services.
Okay.
He worked in Pajaro Valley and Santa Clara for quite some time, and he's got this fantastic mentoring program that certainly has the ability for adjustment and would really work for us. And we're trying to get that off the ground this semester just for our students, but it certainly could be extended if you guys are interested in that. But the industry person that I'm working with on this mentoring piece could also serve as an advisory for outreach and recruitment, because she actually did that herself when she was at Hartnell.
Oh wow,
great.
That's incredible. I'm trying. So my mind's going a million miles a minute now. I have a conference call with Deneen this afternoon at 4, and later this evening I'm going to be talking to her. And what we're trying to do right now is formally define what MCOE's role is going to be, and then what resources are going to be required to enable you guys to fill that role. So I have some kind of big picture ideas, but do you think, would that fall into it? Would you guys be able to take the lead on the development of the mentorship program?
We might be willing to do that. I certainly, I can't speak for my boss.
Sure.
I think Bronwyn just cut out at least.
I'm sorry? Hello?
I can still hear you, Bronwyn. Hello?
Yeah. Did she say? Oh, okay, yeah. Okay, well, I kind of just wanted to have a private conversation with you.
Bronwyn, I think your idea is we'll bring this up with Deneen.
Okay, yeah, so should Joe and I just talk privately?
Yeah, I'll go ahead and send you, Bronwyn,
send
you my number and an email, and if you call me later, that'd be great.
Okay. Thank you, Sonia. Okay, thanks, Joe.
All right, take care.
Okay. Sonia?
Any other good, brilliant ideas or yes? So another area, I'll just put this out there, is what we're looking for is from employers what they need from our students. So it's not just data about what jobs are available, it's also about what skills needs and skills gaps there are. So that's other kinds of data that we're looking for from our industry partners. So I will wait another minute or two, and then I will close the webinar. Again, thank you, whoever is still on the line, and I look forward to being in touch. Thank you. Bye.
Thanks. Sorry, I thought we were off the webinar already. I apologize.
Oh, no problem. That was a good discussion. It's inspiring.
Okay, sorry about that.
No
okay.
problem.
Thanks, Sonia.
No problem. Thanks, Bronwyn.
Okay. Okay, bye.
Bye-bye.